Kind of a little
Douchebag.
psycho.
He used to be. I think he's grown up. He was part of the Pussy Posse. What'd you expect?
What's the Pussy Posse?
You don't know the Pussy Posse?
Oh, because they're so
my God.
innocent.
Welcome to Building Friendships. I am your mediocre host, John Sosis, and today, another one of the funniest people that I've met since I've been out here. She's a comic. She's a podcaster. She's Katherine Blanford.
Thank you so much for having me again.
Oh my God, this is your second appearance.
Yes.
Yes, you may have seen her jump in front of the cameras for Francisco.
I'm so happy to be here, my front side, to be facing the
Yeah.
camera, because last time it was my back.
Yes, it was. You did jump in front of.
I know.
Yeah.
It was an amateur move because when we record our podcast, we're always going over. So the next guest that comes in, we're always like,
Just come on in.
Yeah, and I should have, but
I should have done that. I should do multiple comics this way. We just
Yeah.
like knock them out. But
you
I
just
want everyone to
join.
have their own time. And then you took some of Francisco's, and that's fine.
Well, I know, but now I'm going to tell him I'm going to interrupt his next special. On this
Oh, that would be
closing
great.
bit.
As
I
he's
just
wrapping
walk
up.
out, and I go, is it, how much, and I look in the back, how much time am I doing?
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Really just doing the whole
I'm
thing.
just nervous that I'm not
Yeah,
going to
what
be
sets
able.
are we doing?
Mine is Sandman,
You're doing Spider-Man?
Spider-Man, but did I tell you my favorite was Tobey Maguire?
No, you told me you liked all of them, so I got the one that was available.
Okay. So I was like, growing up, it was my favorite movies were at the same time The Patriot and Emperor's New Groove.
Okay. Those are two very different movies. Okay.
I
love it.
I'm
Yeah.
versatile.
You really are.
I know, and then I found Tobey Maguire's the first Spider-Man,
Okay.
and I was like sickly obsessed with it.
It was pretty solid.
It was so
that was the
good.
first time we really saw a good superhero movie.
A good Marvel movie. It
Yeah.
was so freaking good, and what's his face? Franco's so hot in it.
Not why I liked it, but I get where.
And then then I became obsessed with the Boondock Saints because how do you say his name?
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe was in Spider-Man and then Boondock Saints. Anyways, and so I was obsessed with all the Spider-Man, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Mans. And then I found out one of my friends just told me, do you know the movie Molly's Game?
Yeah.
Is that what it
Oh, that
is?
was him, and that Jeremy Strong plays him, I think.
The ex
Yeah.
guy. My friend Ian Finance just told me that's
Love
what
Ian.
that's what he's the actual guy
Yeah.
in the real story.
he's-
Did you know that?
Oh yeah. He's
So
supposedly.
Toby's like kind of a little
douchebag.
psycho.
He used to be. I think he's grown up. He was part of the Pussy Posse. What'd you
What's the
expect?
Pussy Posse?
You don't know the Pussy Posse?
because they're so
my God.
innocent.
When did you move out here? You're from Louisiana.
No, I'm from.
Kentucky. Louisville,
I
Kentucky.
love how you just lump them all together.
Yeah.
You're from Louisiana, Alabama, or ya?
I'm like, when did you move out here? Because if you don't know the Pussy Posse, you're really out of the
I
LA
don't know
loop.
who the Pussy Posse
That's
is
like
at all.
Leo DiCaprio, Tobey Maguire, and like 2 or 3 other people. They're known as the Pussy Posse. And they just go up, you just see them on yachts with young girls.
But Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire, okay, I get it. I'm with you. I'm with you, but also Boys Don't Cry. There were a lot joining the posse at that point. You get it? He
Maybe because it was like the 2000s and like
Oh,
weak
yeah.
boys were kind of in.
Yeah, now, well, yeah.
Does that not make sense?
I mean, like little wimpy boys?
Like Good Charlotte.
Good Charlotte was in.
Like
Both
kind
of
of like
them.
emotional, not like
They were
nowadays it's all about John Cena and The Rock.
It is John Cena and The Rock.
I'm making stuff
You're
up.
so hip. You know exactly who people are loving these days. John Cena and The Rock.
But back in the day, it was Tobey Maguire.
What an upgrade.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
an upgrade.
I like your torso to be the size of my femur. No. Anyways, so I don't want to know that. How do people? I'm like nervous.
You're fine. This is not a competition. You're just doing what you can.
Where's the
some Lego.
tail? That was my first love moment. Because remember the kiss?
Yeah, where he's upside down. We've never seen anything like it. We haven't seen anything since. There are no upside down kisses anymore.
I don't
basic
think you
shit
can top
again.
it.
No, you can't.
The only thing to top it was, I'll give you one guess. It was also in the rain. Maybe around the same time period, actually. Kiss. Iconic Kiss. Can you guys think of it?
The Notebook.
Yes, of course.
Let's start at the beginning. You're in Louisville, Kentucky. That's where you grew up.
Yeah, so I'm just a good old bad Catholic girl.
When did you decide? When did you move to Atlanta? When did you decide comedy was the thing? Did you go to college?
Yeah, I went to school in South Carolina.
Okay.
And I was too embarrassed when I was growing up to tell my parents I wanted to try acting. So I just did cross country and fake passed out because I didn't want to run in races. That's a true story. Because it's easier to fake pass out.
Okay, can we talk? Wait. You're breezing past that.
What?
Can
What
we
do you
talk
mean? Which part?
I'd love to know what a fake pass out looks like.
I didn't sell it. I was so horrible at it. So
Okay.
that's why I knew I couldn't do acting. It would always be like mile 1 or 2, and I'd just be like, oh, I have to keep going. I hate this so much. And so I learned my lesson because the first time I did it in the woods because I thought, well, it's hard to sell, so I'll just do it in the woods. So then there's no crowd watching you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're just with the other soldiers.
So wait, you were rehearsing the pass?
Well, I was like, well, if I don't sell it well, at least I'll just pass out in the woods, and then the girl will tell somebody else, and they'll come rescue me.
Got it.
Nobody came to my rescue, so I passed out in the woods, and girls were just hopping over me like a hurdle, like a tree root. And so then I was like, so I'm now my face is in the dirt, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm stuck in this. So then I had to just wake up again, stumble out of the woods, and then fake pass out again in front of a group of moms.
So you had to do it twice.
I had to do it twice.
And you weren't confident in either of the attempts.
I would like, it was so bad. I would like, I'd like start like slowing down, and then I made sure to like bump into a couple girls just because I didn't want to get lost again. I wanted girls to get pissed off and be like, that girl hit me. So somebody would pay attention to me. And then I wouldn't, that was the thing that didn't sell about it is you can't slam your body on the ground.
No. I mean, you can, but you couldn't.
I mean, I wasn't even willing to run a mile.
That's fair.
I'm not slamming my body on the ground.
Fair enough.
I don't like any pain. And then some mom would come over, and then eventually my mom would run over. And then my coach, the first couple of times my cross-country coach was like, is she okay? And then he just stopped buying it whatsoever. And he would just be like, all right, see you for snack time after the race, Catherine. I've got 40 other girls who have dedicated themselves to this race. And I just did that like 4 or 5 times. And I never admitted to him that I fake passed out. And then I told the bit on The Tonight Show. And everybody in my hometown was watching the show. And they were like, son of a bitch.
You did get the last laugh.
I did.
It's like,
I did.
you know what? I would not be on The Tonight Show if I continued running like an asshole for you people.
Right. I was like, this was my debut.
Yeah.
So
So how'd you get into comedy?
So
you gave up the running.
I gave up the running, and I just you know what? This is really sad. I started in my sorority. I started for Rush. We had to do like skits and stuff.
Oh no.
And this is when Chelsea Handler had her show Chelsea Lately, and so I would be Chelsea Handler and I'd do monologues. And then I did it for a fraternity competition, and I roasted all the guys, and had one of the pledges be Charlie Sheen. So then I thought about comedy. I thought I wanted to do comedy, and then I read. Did you ever read those books? Live from New York. I think they did one about SNL and where they interview a bunch of.
I've heard of them. I haven't read them.
They did one about SNL, and then they did one about ESPN, I think, or something like that. And that's when I was like, I want to be on SNL, and I didn't even know the difference between like a sketch group and an improv.
Like improv versus stand-up.
Yeah, that's how new I was. When people were like, who are your favorite comics? And I was like, Aziz and Dane Cook.
To be fair, those were
Kevin Hart.
stand-ups, and I think if we're the same age, Dane Cook was pretty hot
the
time.
Yeah, he was huge. He was doing a shocker. So, but long story short, so then I moved to Atlanta and I started doing open mics. But then you know that the studio's is in Georgia, Marvel.
Yeah, MCU's in Atlanta. Marvel Studios.
So then I like started meeting people who were acting, and all of a sudden like I was into Marvel for a little bit, and then all of a sudden I started like recognizing people in the movies, and I was like, this is weird. It's taking me out of it. What does this mean? Do I have to put something on the bottom?
Yeah, that means turn it upside down, and then there are pieces to add that'll help help prevent it from falling together.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah, you got this.
Yeah, okay. But you know which one I loved? WandaVision.
WandaVision was
so good.
Different, and it was probably the best thing they've put out since like the last Avengers movie.
Okay, here are my favorites, and I haven't seen them all, but this one will go down in history. Thor Ragnarok.
That was pretty good.
What?
With Jeff Goldblum? Yeah.
It's so funny.
Oh no, it is really funny.
Wataki, how do you say his name?
Taika Waititi.
He directed it.
Yeah.
So good. And he's the Rock when they're in the prison. He's like,
he does the voice for the.
Piss off, Ghost.
He's amazing. He's another one. He played Hitler in Jojo Rabbit. He's great.
I haven't seen Jojo Rabbit. I know.
I think you would think it's one of the fun. Like I know you enough to think I think you'd appreciate him being Hitler in that movie.
I know I would love that. I think that was on my list, and then I got
Busy?
sidetracked. Yeah.
So you moved to Atlanta specifically to do stand-up, or was there? Oh, okay.
No, there was no. I moved to Atlanta, so I was doing event management.
Okay.
So I was working at venues. That's what I went to school for. I studied touring. Isn't that crazy? Like.
That's kind of perfect.
And I had no plans on being on the other side. Like we studied but it was like we would study stadiums and arena tours.
Yeah.
And then like our finance class was like how to fund a new stadium. Arena. So I was working for a company that worked at the Amway Center in Orlando. And then I got offered a small venue in Atlanta. And then I took my first comedy class. Oh, it's so hard to admit that.
Why? I took a comedy class too.
I know.
I wouldn't have done stand-up without it.
I agree. It taught me,
it teaches you the basics of how to get on stage comfortably and bad habits, like moving the mic stand.
Yeah.
And
no, I agree. I definitely wouldn't have done it had I not learned that for sure. Do you ever just feel like people are like, I just went to an open mic one day?
That's what I hear a lot, and I was not someone with that confidence. There was no chance I was doing that.
Yeah.
You have to have a certain level of confidence to just comfortably say, I'm going to go to a microphone and talk in front of people who just want to watch the football game, or in front of, I guess at the time you don't know that you're going to be in a room with comics who refuse to laugh at everything.
Yeah.
When you do too many open mics and you realize the challenge of making other comics laugh, there's a good chance you become a comic who's satisfied with just making comics laugh.
Yeah, and then you sound like the open mic bar comic.
Yes, but also you can't relate to audiences because the only people laughing are the comics sitting in the back. Mm-hmm. And I saw that a lot at the store. You see the door guys laughing their asses off at other comics that are performing, and the comics like, the door guys are laughing, but the audience isn't laughing.
Yeah, they're like, what is this inside joke? We don't understand.
And I think, and that's what I saw at open mics a lot. There were a lot of people that just tried to make each other laugh.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did the comedy class, and I give her a shout out almost every episode this season, but Jessica Kierson,
Wait, you took her? She did a class?
She used to do it at Gotham, so Gotham became my home club. She was giving me spots every Friday night. She was the best.
Shut up.
She was she's in LA right now. I want to go see her tonight.
I love her so much. Wait, tell me.
She was the best.
Like, what was her class like?
You just come with 2 minutes of material. You get up there. It was her and Jim Mendrinos and Laurie Summer, who's also amazing, and they would give you feedback. And these were seasoned comics who gave you feedback every week. They made you watch your tape. They judged you more on your improvement versus your material. Like, they want to know that you're moving in the right direction, and they can tell when you're taking the time to write material. It was just the best for someone who never had experience on a stage telling jokes.
Were they encouraging, or were they like,
oh, yeah.
What was that?
No, I don't want to say she did it to make us work harder, but she would put us up after, like, people in my class that would get the Friday night spots. Like, I was up after Schumer. People were going up after Seinfeld. She would
Why? That's not nice.
That's because you need to learn how to bomb. You need to know that the crowd, or you need to know how to not kill all the time. And a lot of us, if we were performing in front of our friends and family, they're laughing.
Yeah.
And it's like,
easy.
this isn't a real test of material. You go up after Seinfeld, or you go up after Amy
That's
Schumer.
not even.
It was great. I loved it. I
Well,
fucking
I guess
loved
there's
it.
like, there is something to be said about going up after them where you're like, it's a surefire bomb.
If you get any laughs, you can be like, this joke, check, we're keeping that in there.
Or you could just be like, well, at least you're learning how to be entertaining.
But for me, you're learning how to realize you're going to have bad nights. Like, and I hate talking about the store, but even at the store, I'll see someone who kills every night. They have a bad set, and they come off stage like they watched a family member get murdered.
Yeah.
And like, you killed calm down. You're going to go to the Improv, and you're going to crush, and this is going to be like a blip in your life that you don't even remember. But some people take bombing so badly, and that class helped me realize, like, it's going to happen. It prepares you for that.
That is such
crazy.
a New York class.
Is it?
Yeah, to be like, from the get-go, to be like, it's gonna suck.
It's gonna toughen you
Life's
up.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
like that.
I feel bad, but I say this a lot. Like, if you come, I'm telling all my friends back home, especially like comics, you've been in New York. If you come out to LA, you're going to fucking thrive. Yes. Like, you are built a different way out there. And it's not guaranteed, nothing's guaranteed, but there's just a different mentality out there that
I know.
Out here, I just think it's so lackadaisical. It's crazy.
Dude, I every day I'm like, because when I was like, okay, I'm leaving Atlanta, I was like, I want to go to New York so I can get good at stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And then I listen to people be like, just go to LA, just go to LA. But every day, I'm like, I should be.
How long have you been out here for?
Since April.
Okay, so it is brand new. Like, we met when you did Sarah's podcast first. But you're also naturally funny, which I think is a different skill set that will help you out here where you don't need to be in New York. There are a lot of people, when they get off stage, they are the unfunniest, most miserable people. Like, they're just not funny. They put on this character when they're on stage. They have good jokes, good delivery.
They're great writers.
Yeah, and they're not funny in real life. And I feel like if you come out here and you're funny in real life, and I do think that's a skill you learn just from your upbringing and the people you're surrounded by, you're going to be fine out here.
Yeah, I know, but I feel like in LA, though, that like people ride on a vibe. And I'm like, oh, I want to be able to know how to write.
I genuinely think that can be done from anywhere. I don't think you need to be in New York for that. I think if you find people that aren't phony, I think that's the problem with doing it in LA. You find people that either just want to be yes men in your circle, or they just want to be able to have any kind of relationship with you on a business and professional, just in case you succeed or whatever the reason. It's very difficult to find people that'll tell you this isn't funny, or do this differently, or...
Well, the crowd will.
Oh, when it comes to jokes, yes, the crowd absolutely will, and that's anywhere.
Yeah.
But when it comes to writing the material, there's material that, like, you can just pitch, hey, is this funny, to a friend?
Oh, yeah.
And if they're a good friend, they'll be like, eh.
Wait, you do that? You pitch something to a friend and ask if it's funny?
So I don't do stand-up anymore, but like when I'm writing features or TV pilots, I will, because especially from one of the reasons I stopped doing stand-up is I hated telling the same jokes over and over. I hated it.
Dude, I won't. I'm scared to do that because I'm like, I don't want you to kill it before I try it.
Yeah, no, I hated telling jokes the same bit over and over, where I start adding it into my scripts. It's just like funny things inside of a story.
Oh, that's smart.
But even then, when I'm writing a script and I'm doing the same thing over and over, and I'm reading the same, it's like, is this even funny anymore? So then I will pass it to friends and say, hey, is this a funny joke? Like, are people going to get this joke? Is this funny? Does it fit with the story?
Do people say?
I've very rarely do they say no, but they will say, hey, if you put it in this part of the scene, or you switch this, or this character says They give good feedback.
Yeah.
I've been very lucky. A lot of people that I knew when I moved out here.
What if this character says it after they die so they can't say anything else?
What? I don't even know. That's
I
terrible.
was just trying to tell you it's a bad joke without telling you it's a bad joke.
Oh.
What if instead of this character saying it, this character says it, but way after they've died?
That's a terrible critique. I would suggest never giving that advice.
How do I get these off if I put them in the wrong thing and I have expensive nails? Orange
So
piece.
you take a comedy class. Where do you go from there? Like, how do you know that this is something you
I don't.
are good
I have
at?
no clue. I'm lost in life. I didn't want to do venue management anymore. My mom died. I was like 22. My mom died and then I took the class. Son of a bitch.
Was it initially a way to cope with it, or was that going to happen regardless?
My mom dying?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was going to happen. I mean, eventually she was going to die.
No, I knew that.
I feel like she was probably going to die eventually. I think it... Oh, I get this now. Okay, this is confusing. I don't know. I mean, I like to be like, yeah, I was like everything. I probably had something to do with it where I just was like, I definitely was depressed, and my job was like it was events but also day job, so it was it was like office hours, but then you had to be there for almost every night.
And it was like the same
weekend.
thing over and over.
Yeah, I was 22 years old and my mom just died, and I was like, I don't want to be at a job I hate. I remember being like, I remember trying to be such a people pleaser and trying to be so good at my job. When my mom was sick, they'd be like, you should come home, and I'd be like, but it's a big, the thing is just opening. I didn't know what I was doing, but and then after she passed, I remember like I was still I didn't see her until like the last day she was alive, because I was afraid of leaving work and then getting pissed off because it was like the big opening day.
That is insane.
I know.
Like, it's not insane. It's
No, I think it was a little Delulu kid. Like, I think
but
I was a little
it's
delusional.
a normal, for someone, you're 22, for someone who's just in the working world.
Right. You just want people to like, you want to impress people. You don't want to be the bother. So after she passed, and then I was like, went back to work, and I was working all the time. I was like, this sucks. I don't want to live life like this. So I quit that job. I got offered the Dallas Cowboys Stadium.
Not a bad stadium.
I know, and they were like, we need you there ASAP because Beyonce and Jay-Z are about to be there on their first On the Run tour. And I was like, thank you so much, but I quit. And then
You were so polite
I'm going to be a comic.
You were so polite about it.
And then I started nannying because I wanted to be a medical salesperson, and started going to open mics every night just to like feel something. Feel the rain on your skin.
Okay.
So then I never thought I was going to keep doing comedy. I just kept doing something that was fun in the moment.
So you were basically just living your life.
Yeah, and I was like, and then I researched this is how much I wasn't into comedy before. I researched how old Tina Fey and Amy Poehler were when they got started, and I was like, I'm much older than them. I have no chance of making this happen. So I kept just doing mics with no plan for it. I just was like, every night I was like, but it's going to be, and I sucked. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And I have the same insecurities now as I had then, because like I was going up and like, it was all these like, grungy guys who've known they wanted to be a comic.
So how old
from
are you
the
at this
beginning.
point?
23.
Yeah, you're still dealing with like the women aren't funny, men run comedy.
Men
phase.
run comedy, and I was like, oh, I'm just a basic white girl. And I still have, that's probably one of my biggest insecurities now.
Is it really?
Yeah, like about my material and being on stage, and like what I talk about. But I don't know, it was more fun than like hanging out with the people my age that I went to school with. I was like, I'd rather be with these people that don't understand me or hate my guts, not because of the person I am, but the things I look like and sound like. And then I just kept doing it, and then like started my own shows and just working my way up until probably about 4 years in. 5 years in, I was like, I'm just going to keep going until I make it happen.
And you did. You're all over the place now.
And now I'm here.
So how long have you been doing the podcast for, Cheaties?
For almost 4 years.
Okay. So that's something that, are you using it, was that something that started with the pandemic? Is it something that it did?
Well, it wasn't, we were starting it like February.
Okay.
The pandemic started happening as it was
March,
happening.
yeah.
It was crazy. And then it was so bad in the beginning. We were in my co-host Lace's, she built a tin roof in the back of her house, and we would go film with it. And we would record video and audio on like old family recording video recorder, and then it was a tin shed, so we'd be talking and all of a sudden it would start raining and we'd have to stop and wait for it to stop raining because it was so loud on the roof. Sometimes we'd have guests over and they'd be in the middle of like a very intense story and we'd be like, can you hold off? I know you're crying right now, but the Lord's interrupting us.
Yeah. Did you know it was going to be successful? Like, having that impression of yourself of being like the basic white girl, did you think that it was going to relate to so many people?
No clue. I think it's everything I've done is like, I just was like, it was fun, but it was really challenging for me in the beginning because I'm always insecure about everything I do. I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I'm interesting enough. I don't think
really
what I have to say is worth anything. But doing a podcast was challenging for me to be like, you're talking on your own and giving yourself your own voice that you think, trying to make it worthy enough for other people to listen to. And so it's mostly like everything I do is like, I'm like, even if I suck at it, I'd rather do it and grow and get better at it. So that's really what it started as. And then we kept growing and growing and growing. And then it kept growing and growing and growing too.
And it just keeps going.
Yeah. I want
Are you still enjoying
one
it?
day. I love it. I love Lace and I love I just love our chemistry on it together. I will say, I love bringing comics on and hearing their stories because they're great storytellers. But after 4 years, a typical, like a sad, intense cheating story bores me a little bit. Because I've heard it.
But also 4 years is a long time to not get bored of it. So the fact that you're doing it, most of these podcasts would be broken up by now.
Yeah, for sure.
So like it's great that you're even still doing it. And yeah, I mean, a TV show seems pretty logical as the next step. Are you finding it helping you with material? One of my favorite things about producing all the podcasts is watching people just talk about something organically and then seeing them trying it on stage that night.
1,000%. Probably half of the hour I'm about to record has come from just talking with Lace and then being like, oh, I need to talk about that on stage.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's why I love the podcast as much as like it's a way to put yourself out there and create. It forces me to think about my life and then reflect on it.
And then also, one of the things that's interesting is when you don't realize something's as funny as it is, and it's just such a normal thing to you, and then you talk about it, and people are like, wait, what?
Yeah. Oh, what did we do the other day? It was something casual. I went to Six Flags with my boyfriend, and I was talking to her about the PDA and the lines. And I remember when I was a little kid, and you remember you would watch it
would be gross.
The people in the PDA and the lines, and she's from South Georgia too, so it was like a little comment I had, and all of a sudden we're like talking about it for 30 minutes straight about the Tweety Bird tramp stamp on somebody's lower back. That's some dude with a neck tattoo stroking, pulling her little back hair.
I think. Do you have that in your relationship?
What?
PDA?
Yeah. Now?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I do, and I think about it all the time.
You do PDA? How?
I don't. It's difficult. It's difficult because my girlfriend is in the studio right now.
Okay, yes. All right,
I think about it all the time.
Hold on, what are you guys doing?
Nothing, just like kisses or like we'll scratch each other's back. In my brain, I don't hate it.
You don't partake.
In my brain, I'm like, this is horrific.
But you're doing it?
Both of us are doing it, in my brain, I'm cringing as the other person who might be watching, and I don't know if another person's watching it or not.
But so
But I
you're
remember the
cringing
thing-
as you're doing it?
No, in my brain, I'm like, I hope nobody's watching, I hope nobody's watching, I hope nobody's watching.
But are you enjoying doing it?
Yeah,
This is a
we-
crazy thing.
We like each other a lot, so yes, we enjoy it, but I will never get that out of my head because of what you just brought up. Like, I used to, before I was in a relationship where I actually enjoyed the person.
Wait, are you guys, so what, so much to dive into.
Oh,
but
man,
are you
here we
guys,
go.
First of all, I'm talking about, I'm in line for Superman, and I'm 8, and I'm watching like a girl. Did you guys ever remember like a girl on the railing, and she's got her legs spread, and there's a dude in a
Yeah, I
wife
remember
beater,
that. I know that. It's
You
never,
know, and he's like he's got her hands cupped around her, her big birds, and like and he's licking the inside of her ear, and you're 8, and you're like,
okay, we're not doing that.
None of that.
We're
Okay,
not
okay.
doing that, but we'll do like, even we were standing in line at 7-Eleven.
guys.
And she like just made a kissy face, and I'm like, do I want to deal with the embarrassment of
it.
this entire line watching me, or do I want to deal with what I'm gonna have to do if I don't kiss her right now? I'm in so much trouble right now.
Okay. Wait, how long have y'all been dating?
6 months?
6 months.
Oh, say less. That makes so much sense.
Why?
It's because it's new. Oh, I used to do that all the time.
Okay.
I'm not even an affectionate person.
No,
but
I'm
the first.
new or not. You don't know how new the people online in front of you are. I just think about being in their shoes. Like, I just want, like this person behind me just wanted a shitty hot dog from 7-Eleven, and now they see me kissing my girlfriend.
Also, they're in 7-Eleven getting a hot dog. Things aren't going great for them. It's a sad moment in their life, and you guys are rubbing it in with your romance.
I know, and there
They're
is that.
alone
there-
at 7-Eleven getting a hot
There's a
dog.
part of that I do appreciate, that I'm actually happy and I like the person I'm with.
Yes.
But I don't think I'll ever get out of the mindset of there's probably somebody watching this and hating every second of it. And I don't know how you get out of that.
Well, I would just say I think that kind of PDA is you guys are still so infatuated with each other, and you love each other, and you're just enjoy that moment, because what happens is that moment leaves and it never comes back, and it never ever comes back. And I'll
It
say it
just
again.
left. It just
never,
left the studio.
Ever comes back.
It just left the studio.
And there will become a point in time when you look back on your relationship and you go, I haven't kissed him in a 7-Eleven in years, and nor do I plan on it. So enjoy that.
Okay, so here's the thing about a podcast. I can delete this entire thing from
No,
the episode.
no.
I'm not going to erase it from her brain,
Yeah,
and
it's
that's where I'm going to run into a problem later. Oh
No,
no!
I think I used to, so I'm the least gross. I'm the least affectionate person, but like when I started dating my boyfriend, like I was so infatuated with him because it was new, and there hadn't been any dust settled yet.
Got
and
it.
so even then I was like, I remember like trying to hold his hand on the street, and he was like, "Are you dizzy? Why?" Are you? And I was like, I like you.
I don't mind the hand holding. It's anything outside of the hand holding. I like the hand holding. I'll initiate hand holding. That doesn't bother me. It's the PDA.
But a little peck, or is it like?
Yeah, it's a little peck. We're not making out in 7-Eleven lines.
Is this a convenience store makeout?
I'm
Yours is
in
like
so much
red-
trouble
I
later.
love this. I'm so happy.
You're never in trouble.
I love this. This makes me so happy. But that's like PDA. That's everybody knows that PDA, and everybody knows when they were so infatuated with the person, and you should go for it while you have it, because that is
Yeah.
fleeting and that fades.
Oh, trust me, I've been in enough unhappy relationships that I know that
Yeah.
this is a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's just, in my brain, it's difficult to get out of that place of like, oh, I hope nobody's watching this. I don't want to upset anybody who's
Wait.
just coming into the store for whatever. They just want a pack of candy. And
You're
like,
kissing him, and he's looking at the guy behind him.
It's,
Like,
is that's psychotic?
do you like this?
It's
Is this
psychotic.
okay for you?
Do you approve? I know.
It's crazy that like during the PDA you're so in your head.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
Always.
are you guys tickling the back of each other's back in line?
Yeah, but it's
I love that. Okay.
yeah. I think
You know
that's
what?
even more. I think that's even more subtle than
That I
Like,
don't mind.
people
but
kissing.
Listen, as long as you guys don't hold hands on the moving sidewalk in the airport.
I made this
I'm a
comment to her
fan.
the other day. I used to not be able to. I used to work at a record label in Times Square, and couples would not. There were 900 people on each corner trying to cross for the 10 seconds you have to cross the light, and they would not unhook their arms.
That would murder.
That
I
would-
would Red
yeah.
Rover those people.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. We used to Red Rover.
Yeah.
Red
one
Rover, Red
Honda.
Rover. You have 2 seconds to disconnect, or we're going to disconnect for you.
Right. No one else needs to be inconvenienced by
Yeah.
your romance.
Yeah, and at that time I was single and it was nauseating, and now
Yeah.
I've adjusted and I'm no longer nauseated, but I do look at the other people and make sure they're okay with it.
I think it's more nauseating when you see that stuff being in a relationship for so long. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this post interview.
Oh boy.
After camera interview.
Oh boy.
The Vice TV interview.
Growing up around all men, do you think it made it easier or harder for you to get into stand-up?
1,000,000,000% easier.
Easier?
Yeah, I'm used to being like the annoying girl around.
Did it also contribute to you thinking that you were being basic with your material? Like,
Yeah.
were you doing material that you were like, oh, every girl talks about this, but this is like my real life?
Yeah. 1,000,000,000,000%.
That definitely makes sense to me. Like, I can imagine somebody.
Because I was always the annoying girl.
Yeah, and also like if you did something like make a dick joke, no matter how funny it is, you'll just get grouped as another girl making a dick joke.
Right.
Where you could have had an experience that is so different than other people.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine
probably.
that being sucky.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But no shit. I just saw you do a showcase for a streaming service, and you fucking crushed. And it's
That's
like
very nice. Thank you.
you were like there were 4 or 5 comics on that lineup that I was like, okay, if they don't get picked up by this, it would be stupid.
Dude, that showcase though, they're showcasing like 2,000 comics.
I know, but you had to be pitched for it. So I've been telling people the same thing. Like the fact that you got it means that they at least saw something in you.
I know. I feel like I'm in this part of my career where I'm very much like. It's also like you learn that the industry, you appreciate it, and the industry can help you.
Yeah.
But most of it is self-made. But you're very much like I have to play the game.
Yeah.
A lot right now.
Now that you've moved out here, are you feeling, because when I moved out here, I immediately felt like I was in the industry, where in New York, I felt like I had to actively seek it out. Do you
Yeah.
feel like you're way more in the industry now that you're here?
1,000,000,000,
Yeah.
trillion%. What do I do about this?
Give it to me.
But I
What are you
have
trying to
licked
do?
this.
What are you trying to do?
Get them apart. I
you
don't
have
know what
COVID?
I've done. Yeah, it's not the fun part, and then you feel like, thank you. Oh, thank you.
No problem.
It's you do feel like, oh, I'm not the I'm like I do storytelling, and I'm
Yeah.
like on showcases. I'm very impressed with what I've done on the road, and I've figured out how to do my hour, and like will pat myself on the back and be like, I've learned how to squeeze the living shit out of a bit. Like,
I mean,
ring the rag.
the bachelorette party was so that joke is so tight.
There
it's
is
like-
3 more minutes of that bit.
But you were smart enough to say, this is what I need to include
Yeah.
in this, just to give them a range of material. This is the part that I'm going to include, and this is the part I could chop off
Right.
for the sake of a showcase.
Yeah.
Like that's a good comic. That's a
you.
skill set
Yeah.
that you have to have
Right.
outside of all the other stuff that you're required for.
Yeah, for sure. But it's like I just go, okay, you get to go on the road and have your fun, and then you play the game when you have to play the game,
Yeah.
and then if you don't want to play the game when you don't want to have to play the game, then create your own momentum somewhere
Yeah.
else when you can do your own shit.
When you were starting out in Atlanta, did you find yourself like gravitated towards a comic or a group of comics that were helping you, like that were already kind of established or knew the scene down there? Like, did you have people you could lean on, or were you pretty much on your own?
There was a good class of us, like 4 or 5 of us.
Okay.
All my friends, like Will Foskey moved to New York, Shauna
Okay.
Kennedy. These are all people coming out of Atlanta right now. But I think I was the first of my class Like I went and just did a don't tell with no expectations like usual.
Okay.
And clips just kind of blew up. And then I think my friends were like, oh, this is a possibility for us. Let's get after it. And now I'm so pumped to see a bunch of my friends on Don't Tell and like putting out hours and putting out clips now.
Yeah.
So I think it was like a resurgence in Atlanta to remind people like we can go beyond Atlanta.
That's one thing I've loved about, I mean, listen, I get it. 500,000 people died. I didn't love the pandemic. But one thing I appreciated about the pandemic when it was over was that comics realized they don't have to be so precious about their material.
Yeah.
And people will still come see them even if 10 minutes of it is online.
Yeah.
And they can showcase themselves in front of this wider audience.
Yeah.
It's like a nice little thing that a lot of people didn't want to be involved with at the start of the pandemic. It's like, no, that's my material. You pay for that. Now
Yeah.
it's like, no, they will pay for it on the road. Let them like you.
You will get so much more money on the road.
Yeah.
If they know that you should. It was Dusty Slade that I realized was doing it because he was still in Nashville.
Okay.
And started putting out stuff, and we were watching him like grow and grow and grow and explode. And I was like, oh, this is all you need to do.
What's the worst piece of advice you've ever gotten?
Don't admit that you don't like PDA.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I'm kidding. What's my
That's
worst?
pretty solid.
I will say this: what people have told me. Okay, it's not one solid piece of advice, but I realize people are like, be smart about your money right now. Don't do that gig because that's not going to be good for the money in the moment. I've been told that 2 or 3 times for about gigs that have turned out to be huge opportunities for me. Because I just realized in this point in my career, I'd rather take a chance on a big opportunity or just to meet somebody or whatever else and it not be financially a good move. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to lose thousands of dollars, but I'd rather just not be chasing dollars and just chasing opportunities and experiences right now. And a lot of times I've told a comic like, you think I should do that? And they'd be like, oh my God, they're not paying you enough. Don't let them disrespect you like that. And I've ended up doing it, and it's actually been really beneficial for me.
I feel like you're specifically talking about building Lego right now.
No.
This will not be beneficial in any way.
No, this is life altering. This thing right now.
I hope so. You're gonna take it home. It's yours.
Yeah. What I said, does that make sense?
Yeah. No. I think that's something that a lot of people also did not like doing. Like there were a lot of people, even with the store, where the first question is, does it pay, or how much does it pay?
Yeah.
And it should be like, yeah, the ideal situation is everybody gets paid for every single thing that they do in their life, for every minute of their time. And I'm one of those people who I value time over anything. You can't get me to go to a bar for no money. I am not a bar person.
Yeah.
If I go, it's because I like the person whose birthday it is. I'm not going to hang in a bar. There's better things I would rather do with my time.
Right.
Like, that is amazing advice. Be more mindful of what you do with your time and less worried about the money that comes with it.
Right.
Like
within reason of where you're at.
Of course, no, of course, but like I wouldn't say go do a corporate gig for free.
Yeah, no.
But if Jeff Bezos says, hey, you want to come to my house and you want to maybe do a spot or whatever, you're not going to say, does it pay?
Right.
Like,
You're not paying me and you have tons of money? No, screw you.
No, you want to sit with Jeff Bezos and see what that looks like.
Right.
And like there's an experience. Worst case scenario, you're leaving with a story that you're going to turn into material. Like that's the kind of thing, that's exactly the advice you just talked about. It's like the smartest thing you can do is look for experiences, not money.
And then it turns into
money.
A lot of money.
You're playing the long game. That's the thing. Too many people want to play the short game.
Yeah.
All right, last question, and then we're wrapped. What if you could change one thing about yourself? What would it be?
I had something insane pop into my head, and I cannot say it out loud, but I'm gonna tell you afterwards.
I think you can absolutely say it. We don't judge here. We're building Lego.
Sometimes I'd like to change my race and gender. Sometimes I just want to know what it's like to not be basic.
I don't think that's as crazy as you think it is.
I'm not like, man, I wish I was Latina, But I just am like,
But sometimes when they ask me on the forms, they fill it out a little differently.
yeah.
Sometimes I apply for diversity shows.
No, wait. This wasn't like, it's so much easier not to be white. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm so insecure about being basic.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, if I said the same thing and I wasn't a white woman, would I feel less insecure about it? That's all I'm saying.
No, listen.
That was a really honest answer I shouldn't have said.
No, it's an honest answer that I don't think was bad.
Okay.
Because I don't think you're the only one that feels that way.
This is the last podcast I'll ever do. I'm getting
okay.
canceled.
It's,
But at least you can sit home.
you get a Lego set from
and do
it.
this.
That's all you got. Katherine, you are the best. Where can people
you.
find you?
At It's Katherine Blanford. That's some
How
advice.
far did you get?
Oh,
not
I get
bad.
so distracted.
You made a fire extinguisher. That's awesome.
Oh, is that what this is?
Oh boy.
I get so distracted.
Oh boy.
Dude, if somebody has your name, don't make your handle it's da-da-da then. Because it's very confusing because people go, what is your handle? And you go, it's Katherine Blanford.
Oh no.
So it's Katherine Blanford. It's Katherine Blanford. And then, I don't know, Katherine Blanford on all the other things.
Yeah.
If it's not me, it's another white woman. And we all sound the same. So you'll get it.
And listen to Cheaties.
Oh yeah, Cheaties podcast. Dude, we have a crazy one coming out. Well, I don't know when this is coming out, but the episode is Brent Gill, and it's a story about how he's a very white man, very white. He's a comic in Colorado. Could you sound any whiter?
Sounds pretty white.
And he had a baby with his girlfriend, and the baby came out black. But that is just like the crust on the top of the story.
That is wild. I don't know if this is going to be out before then, but by the time this comes out, look for that episode because that sounds wild.
Yeah, we're like, you need to make this into a
That's like one of those Taco Bell babies.
Yes.
Oh,
what is a Taco Bell baby?
I call them Taco Bell. It's when that show where I had Taco Bell and my stomach was hurting for 9 months, and then they go to the bathroom and a baby comes out, and it's like I had no clue I was pregnant. I thought it was a Taco Bell I had last year. It's like okay.
Yeah, and they have it like in the middle.
It's like that
of
surprise
a Panera
baby.
bread.
Yeah. I thought it was just stomach pains, but still, why'd you think it was okay to shit on the floor? It's a Panera bread. Like, what are we talking about here?
That's the best part.
All right, follow me at Say It Ain't Sosis. Follow the show at Building Friendship Series, and we will see you next time.